Hey, everybody, this is Shambhu, and my guest today on Shambhu Sessions is RJ Lannan. RJ is one of the most respected voices in New Age music with over 25 years reviewing albums and chronicling the genre. You may know him through his thoughtful reviews at artisanmusicreviews.com, where he captures not just the sound, but the spirit of New Age and ambient music. And today we're going to talk about his journey as a reviewer. He's also the creator of Orphan Music, The Incomplete History of New Age Music, a 10-part documentary series that explores how New Age music began, how it evolved, and where it's going. Welcome, RJ.
Welcome to you too. Glad to be here.
Thank you. So happy to talk to you. You're someone who's reviewed a lot of my albums, most recently Transcendence. And I've said this to you before, but your reviews are very coveted because they're from the heart. And you've had a look at all of New Age music since the very beginning. And your reviews mean a lot to artists. So thank you for that. I'll ask you a bunch of questions and then we'll get into the series that you've done. So, what first inspired you to start writing these music reviews?
I was inspired by my very first review, which was a movie soundtrack. I was watching a movie called Mel with Liam Neeson and Jodie Foster. But what got for me was the background music was so prominent, so eminent. It was just a beautiful Celtic music. And I said, I got to know about this and I got to learn about this. And I want to tell somebody about this. So I wrote the soundtrack for an online company called Soundtracks and something like that. And after that, I just really loved writing about music and I fell into it.
So, you kept writing reviews for them.
Yes. And then I was just about ready to start writing for New Age Voice when they went out of business. And then got up a conversation with a buddy of mine named Bill Binkelman, who was responsible for putting out the magazine Wind and Wire. And he said, why don't you write for me?
Love
And I
that.
said, it'd be a pleasure. And I started writing for Bill for a while. And then it just went on from there until
Super.
I encountered a website called ZMR, Zone Music Reporter, though it was called something else back then. And I said, do you want a reviewer? Because they didn't have any reviews. They said, yeah, let's try that. And so I probably wrote hundreds of reviews for those guys over the
Yeah.
years.
So, tell me, what was the first New Age album you reviewed?
It was either Johannes Lindstedt or Mayor Brennan. I actually can't remember. There's been more than a few. But I think it was Johannes Lindstedt because I said, oh, get ready with your passport. This guy's going to take you around the world. And I started from there and just went off with it
I
and
love
enjoyed the
that.
heck out of it.
And what were some of the early New Age artists that kind of got you into this whole thing and captured your
Well,
interest?
one of my earliest influences was, of course, was a Mannheim Steamroller who came up with a series of albums called Fresh Air. And they dominated the scene for quite some time with their thematic albums that were like ancient Greece or modern science, or they just all had a neat theme. And then, of course, there was at the time there was two major labels, Narada and Wyndham Hills, and they were putting out some fantastic. They were actually building the foundation for part of the genre at the time. People like George Winston and Will Ackerman and people like that just sent me through the roof. I just absolutely love that kind of music.
Love that. And I don't know how many requests you get a month to review albums. A few dozen,
It's more than one a day.
more than one a day. So when you're listening to an album, what are you looking for before you decide to write about it?
Oh, the one thing that I do more than anything is I look for music that touches my heart or my soul, my spirit, somewhere inside. The technicality is wonderful. The instruments themselves, I do have favorite instruments, one over the other, but I really look for the emotional side of the music more than the technical side, generally speaking.
Love that. Where do you listen? Do you listen at home or you listen in the
Well,
car?
I listen to a lot of places. I've got a lot of setups. I've got a Denon stereo that I listen to. I listen on my computer. I listen to with my Bose headphones, and I listen in my car all the time. I got a
Sounds like
JBL
me.
system. Yeah, I listen, and I do it purposely to listen to all different conditions and at all different times to see if the music sends me a different message in a different location.
I love that.
So
I actually
something
do
that's
the
in my
same.
car driving down the road is going to be different than 3 o'clock in the morning with my little headphones.
I have the exact same experience creating an album where I listen to it in small speakers. I listen to it on a big
Mhm.
system. I listen to it in my car. Most of the time, I sleep to it. If I can sleep to an album gently and wake
Right.
up to it, I know it's a good thing for others. And who were your all-time favorites? You mentioned like Mannheim Steamroller, you mentioned George Winston, Will
Yeah.
Ackerman. They're both still my favorites.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's one of the it's like that movie Sophie's Choice. It's hard to, I often say that I have many favorites, and currently I have almost 4,000 favorites in my collection. I'm partial to a very soft pastoral music like Kingstead and Rubble used to do back in the day, and the guitarist and Nancy Rubble, who was a various horn player, and they had some really beautiful pastoral stuff that came out in those days. And I like gentle piano. I like gentle flute. I have one of my favorites is Marsha Watson Bendo, who is a flute player and just an extraordinary woman on her own. But she has beautiful, soft, delicate music that just it kind of seeps in like tendrils of pure joy into your brain. And I like Peter Pippin; he's another flautist. As far as guitars, and there's a lot of great guitar out there. This, I guess, one of my favorites right now currently is a guy named Tom Caulfield. He's out of North Carolina, and he's a guitarist. This guy puts out sounds and it's so esoteric and so exotic, and it really makes you think when you listen to the music going, well, what is he trying to say? Oh yeah, I get it. But he doesn't say it ever directly. It just kind of it sneaks at you. It just all of a sudden you get this epiphany and go, oh yeah, that's it. I get it now. He's
Uh,
really good. He's good. Vin Downs, great guitarist. A lot of good stuff out there today.
love that. And have you seen New Age music evolve since the beginning?
Yeah, it kind of has. One of the things that's happened in the last, I'd say, 10 years that wasn't really prominent before that was the coming of Eastern music into the genre. Rarely back in the 80s when the New Age really took off, there was Eastern songs, yoga music and stuff like that.
Like
It
music
wasn't
from
super
India.
strong. Yeah, it wasn't super strong. But these days, you're getting something from all over India, the Middle East, Eastern Europe. There's a lot of Eastern stuff coming in that wasn't there before, and it's widely acceptable now as part of the genre. And
Yeah,
I'm truly
I mean
enjoying that.
that was happening with Ravi Shankar and the Beatles and that
Yes,
whole thing.
he's got it going. Yeah, he got it going. That's for
On my first album, I worked with Ravi Chandra Kulor, who tours with Anushka Shankar, and he toured with Ravi
sure.
Shankar. So I've definitely also tried to dabble in that. I had a guru for 29 years, so Indian
Right.
music was a big part of my whole delivery right from the start. So I fully agree with you there. And do you see it expanding the genre? Is it expanding more into ambient? I know there's AI music that's being put out all over the place. What do you think about all that?
I think that what happened is it blossomed from multiple genres. It blossomed into a couple of three or four that are topping it all. And of course, the acoustic and ambient is probably the strongest factor in all of that music, even if it's electronic ambient or acoustic ambient or that's very strong right now. As far as AI goes, I'm very concerned about it. I have to say, I don't want little electronic tremolos being mistaken for heartfelt, intended in music that is intended to soothe the spirit. I don't want it to come under a false flag. It bothers me a great deal that people are going to be deceived that this is what you're looking for when you're not. It's going to be a false god. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Maybe that's a segue into Orphan Music, the incomplete history of New Age music. So this is a project that you started working on 2, 3, 4 years ago, right?
Well, 2018 is when I really started working on it. And it's when I met with a friend of mine, Randy Copitas, and we discussed music for days. And I guess on the second or third day, he said, maybe you should put this all together in a video. And I said, by golly, I'll try it. And so I started writing notes for the Orphan Music, the incomplete history of New Age music, in November of 2018. And by the end of January of 2019, I had 10 complete episodes outlined and ready to go.
And what are the first episodes focus on? It's more like the foundation of New Age music as we hear it today,
Specifically,
right?
yeah, it is the birth of New Age music. And uh, from my point of view, the birth of New Age music started when the wind first started to blow on the planet, when the rivers started coursing through the valleys, when birds took flight and sang their songs. That's the first New Age music for me. And then I could skip forward to a chapter in the 1800s when Eric Satie first started his music and where it developed into the romantic period of music. and went from there. And then the music expanded. And then after a little while, it stagnated. But then after World War II, music started regaining a different kind of strength. And there was another period where music was instrumentally strong. But it really began for people who are quote unquote New Agers, and I don't really use like the term, but I'll use it, right after or around the time of the Vietnam War, when I myself was a sort of a back to the lander, as I used to call it, where we lived off the land and we lived simply. We got off the grid, some of us, and we started listening to soothing music to accompany the same level as where our spirit wanted to be. And that's, I think, where part of the birth of New Age music really began.
Windham
Is,
Hill, Will Ackerman.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of Sequoia. There's a lot of great albums that came out. Will Ackerman was the father of acoustic guitar contemporary music, because Mr. Ackerman doesn't care for the term New Age very much. We've discussed it at times, and that's okay by me. But he brought out some beautiful spirit music, and it caught on very quickly and blossomed into a multi-million dollar record label.
It did. You know, it's interesting around 1976, 1977, I'm aging myself. I was doing some freelance marketing projects for a company named Vital Body Marketing. And who did they represent? Stephen Halpern
Wow.
was doing the same thing he's doing now, music
Yes.
that was tied to frequencies and making you feel a certain way.
Yes.
I wouldn't say that I ever listened to Stephen Halpern's music and said, oh my God, that's such a soulful performer. It was very electronic and it kind of worked with more with frequencies than with heart and soul. That was my take on it. But
I agree with you on that.
I have a lot of respect for him and like his contribution to
Sure.
ambient
Oh, he's
music.
part of what we call one of the founding fathers of that
Yeah.
type of electronic stimulated music.
Yeah. You've got about 40, 50, 60, 70 participants in this 10-part series.
Technically, I actually had more than 72 who volunteered their time and their presentation to take up a segment that I would give them. I would do it I would just ask them a question and say, what do you think about this? Or where do you think this is going? Or how are you going to be in 10 years? And they would just bare their soul and tell all. Some were wonderful using their own music, their own backgrounds, their own experiences. And they made presentations that were anywhere from 3 minutes to 32 minutes.
Wow.
There was some great contributions to the documentary.
Any favorites of yours?
Oh, gosh, it's hard to say. I think I will say that the one contributor that was spot on from the very beginning was a man by the name of Michael Brent DeMaria, who's a flautist, just a wonderful flautist. He's a psychologist, he's a writer, poet. This man, I was so surprised that he got exactly what I was aiming for the first time I asked him about it. And he contributed somewhere around probably more than 15 minutes of presentation over more than 3 different episodes. I had to cut him in 3 places, but even though I cut him in 3 places, what I cut fit exactly in those 3 places. It was remarkable, and he is a remarkable human being. I like him a lot too. He's a good guy.
So this is really the definitive overview of the entire history of this genre. And I'm sure it's going to be embraced by libraries and universities and musicologists. What do you hope viewers will take away from the series once they've seen the whole thing?
I think once you understand and get through all the way to episode 10, you will understand that whether you know it or not, New Age music or Orphan music you're hearing it almost every single day. You just don't know it. Your mind can't probably categorize it as it's happening, but it is happening. You can open any form of advertisement, any movie, any television, a lot of radio programs and podcasts, YouTube videos. It's all there, but you call it what you will, but it's Orphan music and it's there to be heard. The second thing I want to say is that I think that in our time of trepidation, or right now as the world is, we need New Age music as much as we ever did. I think that we're looking for that respite that sanctuary for a half an hour that gets us away from everything and just lets our mind relax, our body relax, our mind free flow and free form and just and recuperate because we're getting bombarded by so much terrible negativity these days that we need a sanctuary. And I think that sanctuary is and is going to be New Age music.
And where do people find it right now? Where do they find the series?
You have to look and the series,
Your series.
my series, Orphan Music, is on Vimeo, the platform Vimeo, and you type in Orphan Music and you'll find all 10 episodes. Each one of them has a little introduction by me at the beginning, and then we go into what I'm trying to get my point across of, or the subject of that particular documentary. There's 10 episodes. Some of them are longer than others. Some of them are less than an hour. But I never cut the videos to suit my fancy. I did it to suit the material.
Love it.
So you can look there, or you can go to my website, which is artisanmusicreviews.com. On the front page is the word Orphan Music, and click on that, and all 10 episodes are there available with the links.
Love it. Any other closing words?
No, I just hope that through this documentary that I can get more and more people interested in the music that has been maligned so much in the last couple of years, when people think it's new agey. You think that's all it is, but it's not. New age music is so much more. It has so much spirituality in it that you cannot ignore it. And it is music that is created with the intention of love and peace and compassion, like no other kind of music is.
Well,
I
RJ,
get off my soapbox now.
that's cool. I'm on the same soapbox with you. But I just want to thank you, RJ, for joining me here on Shambhu Sessions. Your passion for New Age music and your dedication to telling its story through your reviews is incredibly appreciated by myself and so many artists and so many others who are looking for really valuable music to listen to for inspiration and peace and calm and joy. I'm going to have links to RJ's sites in the show notes. And remember that music is not just something we listen to, it's really something that we live with.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Shambhu Sessions wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave a rating or a review. It really helps people discover these conversations. And if you're watching on YouTube, please share and follow me at shambhumusic.com and on social media at Shambhu Music for updates on new music and future episodes. RJ, thank you so much. I hope you get around to reviewing my new album.
You're on the list.
Got to make a pitch.
Absolutely.
And I really thank you so much for spending time with me and also for working on the series that I was so proud to be a part of, talking about artificial intelligence.
Thanks so much, Shambhu. It was a pleasure to be here. And let me know if you ever need anything. I'm here for you anytime.
Thank you so much, my friend. All right, take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.